Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. 3 women, 3 separate vantage points. One night that changed everything. In the days after actor Menglong's mysterious death, each woman told friends she'd seen something unusual. Then silence. Their posts were removed, their accounts went quiet, and their phones stopped pinging familiar places. Tonight, we follow their digital footprints, the gaps between the facts, and the questions a community refuses to forget. This is not a witch hunt. This is a call for clarity, compassion, and courage. Stay with me. Before we go any further, a clear and compassionate note. What you are about to hear includes a mixture of verified reporting and accounts that are still allegations. We will not present unverified claims as established fact. Where the record is firm, we will say so plainly. Where it is disputed, incomplete, or based on testimony that has not been independently corroborated, we will label it accordingly. Our purpose is not to inflame, but to inform with care, to hold space for uncertainty without turning it into spectacle, and to center the dignity and safety of the people involved. This story touches grief, fear, and the instinct to protect those who speak up. In that climate, rumors can travel faster than evidence, and good intentions can be overshadowed by harm. So we invite you to watch with a steady mind. If you share this video or discuss it, please avoid naming private individuals, revealing addresses, circulating unredacted images, or repeating claims you cannot verify. Do not contact or harass anyone connected to the case. If you possess material that you believe is important, consider first the safety and consent of those pictured, remove identifying data where appropriate, and seek professional advice on responsible reporting. We have taken practical steps to reduce risk. Faces may be blurred, voices may be altered, timestamps may be generalized, and sensitive details may be withheld where disclosure could endanger someone. These choices are deliberate. They protect witnesses and families, and they uphold a simple principle. Truth pursued without compassion ceases to be truth in any meaningful sense. If at any point you feel overwhelmed, please pause. Speak to someone you trust. In many countries, there are community lines and mental health resources available. You are not alone. Finally, a word on tone. We will ask difficult questions and examine contradictions, but we will not sensationalize violence or tragedy. We will credit sources where possible, correct mistakes if they arise, and remain open about what we do not know. This channel values careful listening and rigorous verification over speed. If you choose to continue, you are joining a conversation that prizes respect, patience, and accountability. Thank you for approaching this with the same care. On the night of September 11, 2025, Beijing looked like any other city easing into the small hours, tower lights dimming one by one, traffic thinning, the sky turning from neon to charcoal. Somewhere within that vast silence, news would later say, actor Menglong fell from a building and his life ended in an instant. The official line framed it as an alcohol-related accident, the sort of tragic misstep that can happen when a long day meets a tired body and a blurred mind. But for many people, that explanation felt too thin for a life so carefully lived. In the hours that followed, the internet began to hum with tiny, uneven signals. A comment about raised voices, a brief remark on unusual visitors, a short audio clip of night air, its context unclear. Some of those posts stayed up only minutes before vanishing. Others remained as screenshots passed quietly between friends. Together, they did not form a clear picture, but they did form an echo, the sense that more happened in that corridor, that car park, that stairwell than any statement had yet described. It is inside that echo, and its unanswered questions, that our story begins. On platforms built to reward speed and noise, the quiet act of telling the truth can feel almost old-fashioned. A post goes up, a fleeting description of strange footsteps, a car waiting too long outside a building, a half-heard argument behind a closed door. For a few minutes, perhaps an hour, it lives. People read it, save it, send it to a friend with a simple line. Have you seen this? Then the machinery begins. Certain words trigger automated filters. Reports are filed, sometimes by strangers, sometimes by those who are simply afraid of being associated with controversy. The post disappears. In its place, there is only an error message or an empty page, as if nothing was ever there. Yet in reality, it has already traveled further than any one account. Preserved in screenshots, fragmentary translations, private group chats across borders and time zones. Within this cycle, courage takes on a new shape. It is no longer only the image of someone standing in a public square. It is the person who uses their real name and picture when they know it may bring them trouble. It is the friend who quietly advises them to back up their files, to blur faces, to remove location data. It is the stranger who refuses to twist a witness's words into something more dramatic, just for the sake of views. The algorithm, indifferent and vast, cannot feel fear or conscience, but the people moving inside it can. They are the ones who decide whether a testimony is treated as a living human voice, or as disposable content to be mined and discarded. When we talk about censorship in this context, we are not only talking about rules and regulations. We are talking about the subtle pressure that makes someone delete a message before they press send, the late-night decision to set an account to private, the choice to fall silent rather than place family at risk. Against that pressure, even the smallest act of careful sharing becomes a statement that the search for truth must never completely replace our duty to protect one another. When we stand back from the noise and look carefully, the first responsibility is to separate the ground beneath our feet from the fog around us. We know that a young actor lost his life on a specific night, in a specific city, and that official statements have described it as an alcohol-related accident. We know that this loss shook fans, colleagues, and strangers who had never met him, precisely because his public image was gentle, disciplined, and almost deliberately quiet. Beyond that, much of what is repeated online lives in a different category. Things that might be true, that could be important, but that have not yet crossed the bridge into independently verified fact. Alleged witnesses, deleted posts, fragments of audio, or screenshots of conversations may all carry pieces of meaning, yet each one sits inside layers of emotion, fear, and interpretation. It is tempting to weave them together into a single, satisfying story, but doing so too quickly can turn concern into speculation and speculation into harm. Holding the line between what we know and what we do not is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of respect, for the person who died, for those still alive, and for the truth we claim to be seeking. If there is one lesson this story offers to all of us watching from afar, it is that grief and anger do not have to end in helplessness. A community that cares can choose to build, not just react. Instead of letting timelines drown in outrage, we can turn that energy into quiet, practical acts that honor both the person who has gone and those who remain. Imagine, for example, a shared space where people from different countries place a single gentle marker of remembrance. Not to speculate, but to write one clear sentence about what is known, one honest question about what is not, and one boundary they refuse to cross. Such a map would not point fingers. It would show that thousands of ordinary people value truth and restraint more than drama. We can also change the way we record and share information. A simple 2-column page with claim on one side and source and status on the other can transform a storm of rumors into something more careful and transparent. It invites everyone to pause and ask, where did this come from? Has anyone independent confirmed it? Could sharing this put someone at risk? These are small questions, but together they protect witnesses, families, and even our own integrity. Alongside this, we can consciously balance the heaviness by remembering the light that once was. Short, respectful tributes to Menglong's work, shared with permission and framed with gratitude, remind us that he was not only a name in a headline, but an artist who made people smile, think, and feel less alone. Finally, in every conversation, we can reserve a moment for safety, checking in on each other's well-being, encouraging those who feel overwhelmed to rest, and modeling language that is firm but kind. In doing so, we prove that seeking truth and practicing compassion are not opposing paths, but two steps of the same journey. In the end, this story keeps circling back to 3 figures we hardly know. 3 women on the edges of a tragedy, described to us only through fragments. A neighbor who may have heard raised voices, a worker who may have noticed unusual movements, a passerby who may have captured a sliver of sound. Their names are softened into initials, their faces blurred, their online traces thin and fragile. We do not know for certain what they saw, what they remember, or what they fear. We do not know why their posts fell silent, or whether that silence was freely chosen or quietly imposed. All we truly know is that, for a brief moment, they stepped into a space that many of us only ever observe from a distance. The uncertain ground between witnessing and speaking out. It is easy to turn them into symbols, to cast them as heroes, victims, or missing pieces in a puzzle we are impatient to solve. Yet before they are anything else, they are human beings. They may have families who worry every time their phone buzzes, colleagues who sense a change but do not know how to ask, friends who reread old messages and wonder if they missed a warning. When we talk about them, when we repeat their alleged words or speculate about their fate, we are not moving pieces on a board. We are brushing against real lives. That realization leads us to the one question that matters more than any theory about what happened that night. Can we pursue clarity without consuming the people caught in the middle? If our answer is yes, then it must shape the way we behave from this moment on. It means resisting the temptation to fill every gap with our own imagination. It means choosing language that protects rather than exposes. It means remembering that justice that demands a sacrifice of the innocent is not justice at all. Somewhere behind the screens and rumors, 3 women are hopefully still living ordinary days. The most respectful thing we can do is to seek the truth in a way that leaves space for them, and for anyone like them to live those days in safety. If you value calm, careful storytelling, please subscribe to Update X24H. Your support helps us keep the conversation respectful, international, and hopeful. Thank you for watching and stay gentle with one another. On screen, subscribe, like, share, comment your questions, be kind, no doxing.